welcome back to our Steve Judd. I'm Sue Brain, and here is Steve Judd.
Hello,
Hooray!
hello, hello.
So, we've been having a good preamble chat about all sorts of stuff, but I think you'd quite like to start with Saturn, wouldn't you?
No, I suppose so.
Hello.
Saturn was conjunct the Sun yesterday, or Sun was conjunct Saturn yesterday, and Saturn is sextile Pluto now, and he's coming up to square my Sun, so I'm going to be a miserable git for the next year.
Ooh.
Not, not, not. But
Yeah, will be. You'll be more grumpy.
I'll be more Saturnine,
Grumpy.
mature,
Right.
structured, disciplined,
Oh, we'll see.
grumpy. Yeah, probably. Whatever. It's Saturn. Come on.
Yeah.
I can figure theoretically I can deal with it.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. And then there's the war,
Mm.
and everyone's trying to get an exit policy now and still keeping face, and it's not working.
It's
I
not.
find it fascinating the undertones here. It seems to me, in my personal opinion, which I don't expect anyone else to agree with, but in my personal opinion, it appears that is Netanyahu, not Israel. Netanyahu has played all his aces in getting America involved, and now he's beginning to crap himself a little bit. And when you consider Netanyahu's sun is at 27, 28 degrees of Libra,
Yeah.
and the seven planet lineup in Aries, the new
Yeah.
moon at that time is at 27, 28 degrees of
It
Libra.
is smack on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how much longer this guy's going to be in power.
Uh,
Because he
Well,
is the archetype of a power broker dinosaur.
he is, and there has been lots of rumors about him dying, by the way, but I don't know if that's
Yes.
true or not. And I did see a very interesting AI image of him with six fingers. That was quite interesting. But you see, I this is my theory. I think this is the what's happening in Iran is a kind of like a detraction from what they want with Lebanon, because that really is where they want to be. They want parts of
Israel's
Lebanon,
moving into southern Lebanon. It's
and they've
taking
moved
it
into
over.
Gaza, and I think there'll be the West Bank. And I think what's happening is a
Greater Israel.
distraction. Great.
Greater Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been written that's written in the scriptures. So
Yeah.
I think this is a holy war. But the
Yeah, it
trouble
is.
is,
And I need to stress something. I'm not in any way anti-Israeli or anti-Jewish. Some of my best
no,
friends are for Jewish faith.
mm,
But I
this
don't
isn't
like the
about that.
Zionists, what I see as the Zionist agenda
Yeah,
around expansionism and we are better than anyone and everyone else.
the chosen people. Yes. That it isn't about dissing the Jewish nation. This is not about that, but it's just, and I think what's interesting as well is it is the Abrahamic religions are fighting each other.
Yeah, it's been going on 5,000 years.
Yeah, and I think this might be another a sort of volcanic explosion. But what is making me chuckle a bit, as we've just discussed, I think obviously Trumpy has opened Pandora's box, and she won't go back in again now. And now he's going, oh my God, what am I going to do? So you did a really great video on him. And I don't know if you
Mm.
were doing the transits as well, but do you want to sort of say a little bit about that? Because we've got Netanyahu, and the new moon at 27 degrees Aries, and stuff is happening in Trump's chart as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know Trump's chart well at the moment. Um,
Mm.
Obviously, Uranus in the sky is squaring his Mars right now. It's also going to be squaring his ascendant before the end of April. Um,
Yeah.
Thing is, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's evil. Get him out. Get him out. He's horrible. He's the worst ever." Some of there's some real vitriol against him. But if you replace Trump, you get Vance. Vance is actually potentially worse because
He's another fundamentalist.
he is. He's not an expansionist. He's an
No.
isolationist.
Mm.
And the thing is, with he was born with the sun exactly square Saturn, 10 degrees Scorpio, 10 degrees Leo, and his Saturn sits exactly on top of Trump's Pluto.
Yes.
One minute of 1 degree.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they don't trust each other at all.
No. I don't know how they even work together, but they do.
I don't
Or maybe
either.
they don't.
But it could have been a very wise move by Trump to bring him in because
Enemies.
well, yeah, keep your
Yeah,
enemies
keep them.
close, and also
Yeah.
they're not going to replace Trump if it means they get advanced.
No, it's an
But
interesting one, isn't it?
Democrats are rubbing their hands in America. In Britain,
Yeah.
also, there's rumours. I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of people in Britain about the political situation. A lot of people are going Starmer's toast after the May elections. And then Rayner's making a bid for power, and it's like, yeah. And then other people are going, but wait a minute. When Starmer come in, he said, "You're not going to get headlines from me. I'm just going to do
Yeah.
things quietly in the
Yeah.
background." And so I'm kind of I don't have a birth time for Keir Starmer, and I don't know anyone who does.
Mm.
But yeah, jury's out on that one.
What interests me and what I am hopeful about is he didn't go in with, we've learnt our lesson from Iraq. And I think
Yes,
that's what's happened. And for me, that's I'm so happy that we haven't gone in because I think it would have been I mean, even more disastrous than it is now.
and all the right wing parties in Britain were absolute gung ho.
Yeah,
We've got to go
yes,
in and support our
no,
American allies. Not
not
sure
for
about
not
that.
not in my world.
No, not sure about that because
You know, we lived through the Iraq War and it was
yeah,
horrible. It was terrible what happened out
yeah.
there. Terrible. It was full of lies. So I
And
think,
the French Secretary of Defense put it in a nutshell. I'm not going to repeat his exact words because the second one was off. Uh, but um, he said, "Why would we help someone who's threatening to invade a NATO ally's land space, Greenland?"
yeah, exactly. So it's going to be interesting. So what do you feel about, I mean, I think of Trump as having nine lives. He's like a cat. And every
Yes.
time we've looked at his chart, going, this is it, he's going to get shot.
No,
Well, he kind of did get shot more,
he
maybe.
seems irreplaceable. I
He
agree.
is,
But you know,
he's
Uranus is
not
coming.
well.
Well, Uranus is coming. He's squaring his Mars now, and you can see he's not well. And it's
Yeah.
also going to be squaring his ascendant for the end of April. And he was born with the Sun conjunct Uranus,
Yes.
and in between the two, you've got the North Node, all opposite his Moon. So he is a Uranian character. He is
Yeah.
unpredictable. He is
Mm.
the great disruptor, and he's a bit of a psychopomp as well. But
Yes.
he's also he somehow gets through everything.
It's incredible how he survived all of this without somebody taking, well, somebody perhaps took a pot shot at him. We're not quite sure about that, but something happened definitely. But yes, he's an interesting character, isn't he? And you know, he's fulfilling the prophecies as well. You
Well,
know,
he
I mean,
is, and he's got his place in history is
he's
assured.
assured, and that's legacy.
Yes, whether it's good or bad, well, that's up to history.
Yes, exactly. And who writes it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you'll
But
have to,
it seems to me that he went in there saying this is not war without end. This is a surgical strike, and now it's looking like it's war without end. And
yes.
the outcome is being felt across the world, from the Philippines, Europe, America. Gas prices have gone up 20%.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was paying 127 3 weeks ago. I'm now paying 152.80.
Oh, your petrol. So I'm up to 180. I think it's going up to 185 or something like that. Yes, no, it's full on. It's full on. But you
And
know, see,
they'll be
oh,
rationing soon,
oh,
and then
definitely.
people are going to get angry.
yes, and that'll go, and they'll blame Trump for that, for going in the first place. But there's a couple of things here that I saw a very disturbing. You can only believe it's true,
Go
but a
ahead.
very disturbing photograph of apparently he has a very strong fundamentalist advisor, Christian advisor. She's a woman, and she's, I think, the fundamental Christians, and I may be wrong, but this is what I understand, have urged him to go in and support the Israelis, and because of the um,
Prophecy.
because of the prophecies. So they're expecting the end of the world, Jesus to come back, and then the Muslims are expecting Muhammad to come back, and the Israelis are expecting, I think it's Moses to come back or somebody, but one of the great. But they're all. It's so crazy because their joint father is Abraham. Where you go back in time and listen to how it all came about. Why are they all fighting each other?
Oh, because they're men.
Because they're men.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Thing is, Sue, let's step back. Let's just go back in time 2 or 3 years. When we started doing these conversations, we were saying then, 2026, that's the year
Yeah, we did.
everything's going to change.
Yeah.
And then we got closer and closer, and here we
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
now we're through the Saturn Neptune conjunction. And now we're heading into the seven planet lineup. And from the beginning, mid May onwards, early mid May onwards, things will 70% of the challenges of this year are over. But then we've got that massive
Yeah.
lineup
Yeah.
in July. But
July.
that
Yeah.
is that is regime change. And I'm not talking about a particular regime.
Yeah.
I'm
This is
talking
the
about
warm up,
regimes
isn't it?
all over the world.
Yeah. So I
Um,
think,
if if there's rationing all over the world because of what's going on now, it won't just stop at fuel, then it will become food.
oh, definitely.
And once everything gets rationed, then humans in the last 50 years have got conditioned into the nice things of life. And you can't eat your Instagram.
No, you can't. You can't dig your garden when you're scrolling on your phone either.
So I
No.
noticed in yesterday's news in Britain, there was a report that says in the last 1 month, solar panel cells and heat pump cells and investments in solar has gone up 1,500%.
And I tell you what, Lidl's very shortly is going to sell portable solar panels that you can plug in even if you live in a flat.
Brilliant,
They're going to be 400 quid. Yeah, I've just read an article about them today.
brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant.
And
I'll join
maybe
the
this
queue.
is what we need. This is what's needed to move us forward, that we're so
Indeed,
stuck in the past.
yeah. And petrol represents. I mean,
I know.
look at it from an environmentalist perspective. Oil is like the blood of the earth. It lubricates the joints between the
Yeah.
tectonic plates. So
Yes, I know. And they're all blowing up. But maybe, this is very much Neptune, isn't it, in Aries, the war of the oceans and exactly what's happening.
thing is, as astrologers, we knew something like this was coming.
Yeah, we did.
And we can't say that we predicted it, but we did forecast something like this. And
Yeah.
that's why, as astrologers in the future, to look forward now, we have to be realistic, but we also have to bring in some hope.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Pluto, the sextile with Saturn?
Well, yeah, I did some serious thinking on this. It's a bit deep, obviously. But when you think of Pluto in Aquarius as the transformation of community, so the cessation of old structured
Yeah.
boundaries in community and the emergence of a much more global community, whether that's in terms of deleting physical borders or just an internet community that's worldwide.
Yeah.
And then Saturn, I'm not minding Saturn in realism. I'm not minding Saturn in Aries at all at the moment because I'm glad it's out of Pisces, and it's like a breath of fresh air at the
Mm,
moment. It
mm,
may not be that way in a year's time, but at the moment, Saturn in Aries is going right. So, what do I want to do? How
yeah,
can I make the world a better place? And with a sextile being the window of opportunity, the idea of individuals taking responsibility for themselves and opening
yeah.
up to a larger community and bringing community into their lives seems a
Yeah.
viable prospect now. The way we
Restructuring.
restructuring
Yeah.
our ideas of community, whilst at the same
Yeah.
time transforming our old boundaries and changing them into something more adaptable and flexible for the future.
And this course brings in Chiron as well, the wound of who am I? And who are we now? With the old structures breaking down, who in fact are we as a humanity? I'm finding this fascinating.
And the new moon will be conjunct Chiron
Yeah, it is. Spot
strongly.
on it. So I think there's, I think there's stuff that we're going to have to deal with. I do, but I also think that this really is a new shift. Now I've just talked to you before we came on about the Uranus square, the nodes, which is coming on in a couple of months, which you're not so keen on. But for me, the North Node is about really is about where humanity is heading, destiny, the destiny of humanity. And Uranus is the great awakener. And the one thing that we do need is people to wake up and do it
Also,
differently.
less than 6 months, the node will be moving into Aquarius.
Yeah. Yes. So I think and that it'll be sharing, the Aquarius with Pluto. So, I mean, I've been looking at Pluto out of bounds as well, the history of Pluto out of bounds, and certainly it's out of bounds. It goes in and out of bounds, but it's been out of bounds since 2025 until 2035. And I think, out of bounds, it really exacerbates this sort of sense of challenging old taboos and encouraging initiatives and collective ways of understanding and also confronting how we end our lives. I think that's something else that's coming up to do with our mortality as well, because I think everyone is getting a mortality wake up. The
Yes.
world that we know is not that safe place anymore, and death is really staring us in the face
So
now.
many people I've dealt with in this last month or two, they say to me, yeah, I'm waking up every morning and turning the news on, expecting
Yeah,
to see mushroom clouds or something like that.
yeah,
And I'm doing my best to reassure them, look, on the one hand, it's not going to happen like that, at least not yet.
yeah.
And on the other hand, if it does, what are you going to do?
Got to
You know,
get ready with
you're going to
yourself. You've got to make peace with yourself, and then it doesn't matter. But
exactly
it's
easy,
scary.
easy for us because we're older.
Exactly, exactly. But
But
not yeah, exactly. It's not great for, but people in the Second World War had to, the First World War, the Second World War. What happened in the Balkans? That was only yeah, it wasn't that far. That was only in when did the
25
yes,
years ago,
yeah. Then we had the post Cold War. So there's a lot of stuff, isn't there, that people have always survived.
we
And
have
this,
always survived.
yeah. And
You,
war does bring us together in communities. It's this dig for victory
you
kind of
do
vibe.
realise that we only do these videos these days sort of once every 4 to 6 weeks. So the next one we'll do will be post all this stuff,
Yes, on the
this
other
is
side, as they say.
on the other side. So I do think we actually need to focus a little bit on the short term because this next few weeks is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be pokey,
It's going to be more than that. It's going to be scary.
scary pokey.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it's
yes,
going to be brief, relatively brief.
yes. Do you think
Uh,
actually that new moon in Aries, it's so intense, and it's also right at the end of Aries as well. So it's, it builds that intensity. Do you think after that, then something will pop, and then there'll be more of a kind of withdrawal? withdrawing.
I do think things are going to wind down, taper down, not
Yeah,
disappear, but really calm down
yeah,
to a certain extent. But I do feel that for everyone watching this, especially though if you're one of these people who's astrologically aware or knows your own chart, it's really important now to look at the area of
yeah,
Aries in your own personal horoscope. Look at the start of Aries, where you're going to have the conjunction of Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, and the
yeah.
end of Aries, where you'll have the conjunction of the Sun, Moon, and Chiron. Look at what house it's in and make
Mm,
an agreement with yourself. I'm not going to panic.
yeah. And if I do feel panic, I need, to build up resilience and strategies that you can help yourself bring down that effect.
Go and
Yeah.
stand in the sunshine. Go and plug your fingers like a plug into a socket. Plug your fingers into the earth. Push your
Mm,
fingers in the ground. You know, we
yeah.
need we need mature, intelligent people at the moment who are going to hold the common ground for everyone else. This is why astrologers are so important right now.
Well, we're
And there are
frontline.
there are some astrologers out there now who are just giving it total gung ho on the doom, death, and disaster. And I'm like, where's my baseball
Yeah.
bat?
Yeah.
You know, this
Yeah.
is insane.
But I think I think I've said this before, but what gives me hope is the fact this time has been foretold.
Yes,
It's happening. And I feel like I've been waiting for it all my life. I've always felt like this, and my spiritual teachers have always told me about this time way back in the 80s. So
I
I
saw
feel,
this in the 80s. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I feel that actually, oh, thank God it's here. Now we know what we're dealing with. So
It's always been in the future, and now we're in it.
yes, it's
Yeah.
here now. It's right here, here and now. So I
And
do think it is a time to start thinking about how to build resilience. What does resilience mean to you? And find those little bits of joy that feed your soul and your heart, and hug your
the
kids
you, you
more.
you hit it in a nutshell. The more joy we
Yeah,
find under the most intense of pressure and extremes, but the more joy we find in our souls in this next few weeks,
yeah,
this joy will act as fishing lines thrown into the future and seeds for the long-term future,
yeah,
as opposed to the death, doom, gloom, and
yeah.
disaster.
Definitely. And a lot of people, I'm not saying everyone did, but an awful lot of people who talked about the Second World War, especially when they were the Home Guard, that, they had a good war because they were together. They formed communities. They did things together where so, and I think that sort of sense of coming together, find a mate that you can go and have a glass of wine with and a laugh or whatever it is for you that helps you or
I forecast the rise of illegal stills.
yes. Yeah,
Yes,
you can't buy booze, go and make your own, which is
absolutely.
what happened.
This
Which is what happened during the Second World War.
look back 84 years. Spring 1942. In this country,
God.
it was the Blitz.
Yeah.
My mum was bombed out of her house. Her house was flattened. She came out of a shelter to find nothing.
Whoa. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we take it for granted that we have central heating and roof over our heads. But for 84
Yeah.
years ago, when Uranus was in the position it's in now,
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone was on the point of death.
Well, it's interesting because it's conjunct Algol,
Yes.
isn't it? The Great Beheader. So I think once it moves off into Gemini, I think it's going to ease up, but it's very intense at the moment.
We've beheaded the beast in the east with the Ayatollah gone, but we've birthed the Hydra, many heads,
Many heads. We did. We did.
and there's still a few big heads to
Yeah.
tumble. I do suspect I think there's at least one of the major role players who is not going to be around in a month's time.
Yeah. Well, I think there could be two.
Putin's keeping very quiet, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
At the moment, I think there's things going on, obviously, but I think they're all for me, they're a soul group. Putin, Netanyahu,
Trump.
Trumpy, and well, it was the Ayatollah. It's meant to now be the Ayatollah's son. But I just think there's a soul group energy playing out here. And
Yeah.
I think what the gift is, we do not want this. We don't want this war. We don't want these old men fighting each other over some crazy myth written in Bibles or Qurans or
Yeah,
whatever
not in
else.
my name.
Not in my name. Thank you very much. And I think a lot of people are going, I'm done with that. That may be the great shift, the great awakening.
Enough people stand up and go, not in my name.
Yeah, yeah. Because it isn't
That's
in
what's going
my
to
name.
happen, you know.
Yeah, I
There'll be
think so.
massive public
Mm,
outrage.
yeah. If it goes on much longer, absolutely, which it's going to. I think it'll go down,
Then it'll come
withdraw,
back
and then
up.
I'm going to come back up again in July.
The reckoning,
I
the
think
actual
the reckoning,
transformational point will be July.
I
Yeah,
think so. And then the fall, we'll have to deal with the fallout.
yeah.
But that's fine because we'll know what the fallout is. It's not knowing. You can't plan for what you don't know.
Meanwhile, right now, as we speak, the moon is less than 2 degrees away from conjuncting Jupiter. So, of course, we're
Yeah,
spouting.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
we're a bit over the top with it all.
yes,
But,
yes,
but of course, moon conjunct Jupiter is about bringing hope and joy, as
yes.
well as potential melancholy. But, I prefer hope and joy.
But it's in Cancer. So it is
Yeah.
about home and legacy and family and all those yummy, well, hopefully yummy things.
Mm.
Some families aren't, but that whole concept of the homelands,
It's really weird at the moment. There's something
belonging.
very, very, what's the word? Serendipitous going on. The sun is conjunct Saturn, but the moon is conjunct Jupiter as we speak.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that interesting? That's
Oh,
the
it's all,
beauty of astrology. You're constantly surprised by it.
well, it's always there's always an amazing serendipity or coincidence or whatever you want to call it going on where you
My,
just get,
my mate, my
oh my
ex-mate
God.
Terry Pratchett, he
Oh
said
yeah.
it's not four elements, it's five. The fifth element is surprise.
Ah, oh, I love that. That's it,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's
yeah,
surprise. So,
yeah.
I think with Uranus, being doing what it is, let's just stay surprised.
Oh,
And if you're signed up for the good stuff, let's just carry on feeding that into the zeitgeist.
yeah, absolutely. Negativity can't exist where there's humor.
Yeah, exactly. So on
All
that
right.
note, shall we end?
I think that's a really good way to leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, God
And,
bless
and
you
we'll
all.
and we'll catch you after the incisive moment.
And take care of your lovely selves. Listen to your
Yes.
intuition, listen to your hearts.
Yes. And act in a mature and intelligent way.
Ooh.
You'll be grateful you did, and so will your grandchildren.